Captain Olivia Benson pushed open the heavy door of the old Irish pub, her hand lingering on the worn brass handle for a moment longer than usual. The night air clung to her uniform, and as she stepped inside, the world outside seemed to fade away, replaced by the low hum of voices and the soft glow of amber lights. The familiar scent of wood and beer now tinged with grief, mingling with the faint aroma of old cigars and memories that seemed to hang in the air. Every creak of the floorboards beneath her feet felt heavier tonight, as if the building itself mourned alongside them. The room was filled with faces, friends, colleagues, and old squad members, all gathered to say goodbye to Captain Donald Cragen. Some faces she recognized instantly, others she hadn't seen in years, but all were united by the same sense of loss. Benson's eyes scanned the crowd, a sea of dark suits and somber expressions, the usual laughter replaced by quiet tributes. Conversations were hushed, punctuated by the occasional clink of a glass or a whispered memory shared between friends. Every corner of the pub seemed to echo with memories of Cragen, his gruff voice, his steady gaze, his unwavering support. Framed photos and old memorabilia lined the walls, each one a silent testament to the years he'd spent guiding and protecting his team. On a small table near the bar, his badge rested beside a flickering candle, a symbol of service and sacrifice that felt almost sacred in this moment. Olivia moved through the room, offering and receiving silent acknowledgments of shared loss. Each handshake, each embrace, was a reminder of the bond they all shared, a bond forged in the crucible of their work, and now tested by grief. As Cragen's successor, she felt the weight of expectation, people looking to her for strength she wasn't sure she had. Their eyes followed her, searching for reassurance, for a sign that the team would endure even in the face of such a profound loss. The reality of his absence pressed down on her. There would be no more late-night advice, no more steadying presence. She remembered the countless times she'd turned to him for guidance, his words always calm, always wise, no matter how chaotic the world around them became. She thought of the cases they'd closed, the lives they'd changed, and the legacy he'd built. Each photograph on the wall, each case file on the table, was a chapter in the story they'd written together, a story that now felt unfinished. Even the bartender, who had seen them through countless celebrations and sorrows, moved with a quiet reverence, as if aware that this night was different from all the others. Now, it was up to her to carry that forward, a daunting, honorable task. The future felt uncertain, but she knew she owed it to Cragen and to everyone in that room, to lead with the same integrity he had shown her. The world felt less stable without him, but the mission remained. She drew a deep breath, steadying herself, determined to honor his memory not just tonight, but every day that followed. Tonight, they mourned not just a captain, but the heart of their family. In the quiet clinking of glasses and the shared glances of remembrance, Olivia realized that while Cragen was gone, his spirit would live on in each of them, guiding them through whatever came next. A familiar voice broke Olivia's reverie. Dr. George Huang, offering a gentle, understanding smile. His presence was a balm, a reminder of the steady support that had carried her through so many storms. Olivia felt the tension in her shoulders ease, if only for a moment, as she met his gaze. Their embrace was a silent exchange of shared history and respect. In that brief moment, words were unnecessary. The years of trust and friendship spoke for them. The world around them faded, replaced by the comfort of a bond forged in hardship and hope. Brian Cassidy appeared next, his smirk softened by grief, and wrapped Olivia in a brief, comforting hug. His eyes, usually full of mischief, now held a quiet sorrow, a shared understanding of loss. The hug lingered just long enough to remind Olivia that she wasn't alone in her pain. Fin Tutuola joined, his stoic presence a quiet anchor, followed by Carisi and Rollins, each carrying their own memories of Cragen. Their faces reflected a mix of sadness and gratitude, each one silently honoring the man who had shaped their lives and careers. Together, they formed a small island of shared loss in the crowded room. The noise of the bar faded into the background, replaced by the gentle hum of memories and the comfort of familiar faces. Words were few, their bond needed none. In the quiet, they found understanding, a language spoken only by those who had weathered storms together. They reminisced in low tones, funny stories, moments of kindness, times Cragen had their backs. Laughter mingled with tears as they recalled the man who had been their mentor, their protector, and sometimes their confessor. The group was a testament to the squad he'd built. Dedicated, flawed, fiercely loyal. Each person carried a piece of Cragen's legacy, woven into the fabric of their lives. In their shared grief, they found strength. The pain of loss was softened by the knowledge that they faced it together, as they always had. Cragen's influence was everywhere, in every story, every embrace. His spirit lingered in the laughter, the tears, and the quiet moments of reflection. They were his legacy, and tonight, that legacy held them together. The bonds he'd helped forge would outlast even the deepest sorrow. The room felt a little warmer, the burden a little lighter. In the glow of shared memories, hope flickered quietly, promising that healing would come in time. In each other, they found comfort, a reminder that even in loss, love endures, and the ties that bind them would never truly break. The pub quieted as a tribute video flickered to life, showing Cragen through the years, at his desk at crime scenes, sharing rare smiles. Olivia watched, memories flooding back, a younger self, a younger Elliot, both learning from their captain. The video shifted to Cragen's retirement party, his voice steady. "I lived for my job." He spoke of sacrifice and purpose, never regret. For him, the work was a calling, not just a career. The room listened in silence, each person lost in their own memories. The video captured his essence, few words, immense integrity, unwavering commitment. Olivia wiped away a tear, feeling his lessons settle deeper within her. He had built more than a unit, he'd built a family. His words even now were a final gift. The silence that followed was filled with gratitude and resolve. All eyes turned to Olivia as she stepped forward to speak. "Don Cragen was the best boss I ever had," she began, her voice steady with emotion. She recalled how he'd challenged and trusted her, standing by her even when she doubted herself. "Leadership," she said, "was about having your people's backs, something Cragen had taught her by example. Everything I know about being a captain, I learned from him." She didn't list his accolades, she spoke of his quiet strength and the profound impact he'd had on their lives. Raising her glass, she simply said, "To the captain." The room echoed her words, a chorus of love and respect. It was a farewell from one captain to another, simple, heartfelt, and complete. Olivia stepped away from the podium, the reality of loss settling in. Amanda Rollins hugged her, both women comforted by the bond they'd forged under Cragen. Finn and Carisi joined, sharing stories, Cragen's no-nonsense authority, his quiet compassion. The room buzzed with memories, each one a piece of the man they mourned. Olivia listened, realizing Cragen's influence reached far beyond SVU. He was a pillar of the NYPD, respected for his integrity and commitment. Despite the comfort of friends, Olivia felt the weight of leadership settle on her shoulders. She missed her captain, and the days when she could lean on his wisdom. Now, the responsibility and the legacy were hers alone. As the memorial wound down, Olivia slipped outside for air, the city's noise distant and muted. She leaned against the pub's wall, lost in thought, when a familiar voice spoke from the shadows. "I don't like funerals." Elliot Stabler emerged, his presence a jolt of comfort and old ache. He hadn't gone inside. Grief was never something he shared in crowds. Instead, he waited for her, a silent guardian as always. Their eyes met, years of history and loss passing between them. He'd missed the service but not the chance to be there for her. Cragen had been their first captain, the one who'd paired them, the anchor of their partnership. Elliot's way of mourning was different, but his respect was clear. In that quiet moment, nothing else mattered. The world shrank to just the two of them, side by side in the night. They stood in silence, the city's hum filling the space between them. Elliot finally spoke. He was a good man. Olivia nodded, words failing her. He glanced back at her, acknowledging their past. "We had a pretty good run there for a minute." Olivia smiled sadly. "We still do, just different." Their connection hadn't ended, it had changed, grown deeper with time and distance. Elliot stepped closer, pulling her into a tight, desperate hug, their fifth ever but the most meaningful. Olivia let go of her composure, holding on just as tightly. It wasn't romance, but shared grief and understanding. In that embrace, they mourned Cragen, their lost time, and the people they'd become. It was a moment of pure connection, healing, honest, and necessary. They held each other for a long time, reluctant to let go. Eventually they parted, hands lingering, the air still thick with emotion. As Olivia turned to leave, Elliot's voice stopped her. "Love you." The words were calm, deliberate, a simple truth, not a confession born of crisis. Olivia paused, absorbing the words, a small smile touching her lips. She didn't turn around. She didn't need to. His words were a gift, a quiet promise that she wasn't alone. She drove away, their eyes meeting in the rearview mirror for a fleeting second. The night had begun with loss, but ended with hope and connection. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the precinct windows, casting a gentle glow on the memorial wall. Cragen's photo now hung there, a permanent reminder of his unwavering dedication and the countless lives he touched. His presence lingered in the air, a silent promise that his legacy would never be forgotten. Olivia stood before the wall, her heart heavy with grief, but also filled with gratitude for the years of guidance and friendship. She felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, mingling with a fierce determination to honor Cragen's memory. The stories shared the night before, the laughter and tears, and the quiet revelations had reminded her of what Cragen had truly built, a family bound not by blood, but by purpose and compassion. As Olivia entered the squad room, she felt every eye turn to her. Her team, still processing their loss, looked to her for strength and direction, just as they had looked to Cragen for so many years. She chose her words carefully, keeping them simple and heartfelt, just as Cragen would have done in moments like this. "He taught us to fight for those who have no one else," she said, her voice steady. "He showed us that justice isn't just a job, it's a calling." The team listened, their faces reflecting a mix of sorrow and resolve. In that moment, they understood that honoring Cragen meant carrying his values forward in every case, every decision. The detectives nodded, a new sense of purpose flickering in their eyes. They were united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they prepared for the day, each member of the team carried a piece of Cragen's wisdom with them, determined to make a difference. Cragen's lessons weren't just memories. They were living principles, guiding their actions and shaping their choices, both big and small. His legacy lived on in their pursuit of justice, in their hope for a better world, and in the compassion they showed to every victim. Though the pain of loss would eventually fade, Cragen's spirit would remain the bedrock of SVU, inspiring every new generation that walked those halls. Captain Olivia Benson stood tall, her resolve unshaken, ready to lead her team into the future, carrying the baton forward, just as Cragen would have wanted.